you still own the whole place, apartment upstairs and everything?
Now listen to me. You make this place great. You hear me? Nothing can stop me.
What's good YouTube, it's your boy MVT and welcome back to the What MVT Thinks channel where we talk about everything movie and TV shows related. Now in today's video, I'm back with another power video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about Uncle Gabe and how I feel like Uncle Gabe might be in on Ghost's master plan to fake his death, and how I feel like he's helping him hide out and helping him watch over Tariq from afar. Now before we actually dive into today's video, I highly suggest you guys watch the previous parts of the series which I've done thus far. I've done a part 1, part 2 and part 3. This would technically be part 4. So I would highly suggest you guys watching those videos in order because it kind of paints a picture and a storyline for you guys to follow. In part 1 and part 2 we cover all clues related to his faking his death, and in part 3 we cover Ramona Garrity's theory, and in part 4, which is this video, we're going to be covering the theory that Uncle Gabe might be helping him hide out. Now even though there's multiple theories, all these theories lead into one big theory and they all kind of go in together. So I'd highly suggest watching those ones before you watch this one, as it kind of makes a bit more sense, and some of the stuff that I will say in this video will link to some of the stuff I've said in the previous videos, so it'll just help you guys correlate. So with all that out the way, let's actually dive into today's video. So the first time we actually see Uncle Gabe is around episode 10 of season 6 when Ghost needs to find a venue for the QCP. We see him obviously go there, and then we see them to have a conversation, and then we find out that that is actually Uncle Gabe and there's a big past between them. Now we didn't see him again after that initial conversation between him and Ghost. We didn't see him again until Ghost's funeral in book 2, which is obviously Tariq's spin-off, and in that we only saw him have a one conversation with Tariq, and then we haven't seen him since. So we only seen him twice in the whole Power series, and in my opinion guys, I feel like that is the first big clue into this theory right there. So our first main question would obviously be, why would they bring Uncle Gabe into the series now? Yes, we know that James obviously needed a site for the QCP, but let's be honest, he could easily have got that site anyway. He's got money, he's got connections, getting a building is not going to be hard, and I think it's already an indication that there's more to this story. Now when he was speaking to Uncle Gabe and asking him about purchasing the bar, he made a point to ask if he still owns the apartment upstairs as well, and in my opinion I feel like this is definitely a slight clue, because if you need a site for workspace, why would you need an apartment upstairs? Unless, you know, you're planning on living there yourself or living there with someone else, maybe, I don't know, someone like Ramona, who's also out of the picture, who is also the only other person that he told that he purchased that location. Now in my opinion, I feel like these are all clues. You guys might feel like I'm reaching, but I personally feel like the writers have put this in there and put Uncle Gabe in there for a specific reason. As I said, James/Ghost, he could have found any location. He has connections, he has money, we know this. Getting a building or a venue for the QCP would not be a task at all. Like, let's be real, the writers made him go to Uncle Gabe for a specific reason. They wrote him into the cast for a specific reason. To be honest, in my opinion, I feel like Uncle Gabe is definitely a big character, and I feel like he should have been introduced into the Power series way before he actually did. He gives us good insight into Ghost's past and the reason why he is the man he is. Obviously we saw him have a little conversation with Ghost about his father, and we should see more of that, and in my opinion I feel like they definitely spoke more in that conversation than what we obviously saw on screen, and I'll get to that in just a second. But let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. I feel like they definitely brought Uncle Gabe into the series right now for a specific reason. They could have brought him in at any time, but they brought him in 20 minutes before Ghost was shot. Why is that? You guys have to ask these questions. But now let's move on to our next point. So as I said briefly, I definitely believe the conversation that they had was a lot more loaded than we actually saw on screen. Now let's be honest, if they haven't seen each other for as long as Uncle Gabe said, which was the night that Ghost's dad apparently died, which is apparently like 13 or 15 years, then there's a lot for them to actually catch up on. I mean, Ghost literally just told him that his daughter Raina died, and we didn't see Uncle Gabe ask anything about Raina. Now if you are considered family, Uncle Gabe is definitely going to ask questions. What happened to Raina? Why did she die? Innocent men's daughters don't die. Like, people just don't die for no reason. She was shot dead. Like, he's going to ask some questions. Let's be honest, we didn't see him ask any questions. He's obviously going to ask, what have you been doing for this whole time? We saw a little piece of that conversation, and I believe that in that part of the conversation that we didn't see, there could have easily been an opportunity where Ghost went clean and told Uncle Gabe what's been happening. He could have told him that he's obviously been trying to be a better man, but people want him dead. He could have easily have told him what really happened with Raina, that Tariq has been going with the street life, he got caught up with bad people, and that's how Raina actually died, because let's be honest, that's how Raina died. It was all Tariq's fault at the end of the day. It had nothing to do with Ghost, it was all Tariq's fault. He could have told Uncle Gabe that he's planning on disappearing and he wants a fresh start and he wants to have a clear new life. For me, all of these things are a possibility. Obviously, some of them might be false, some of them might be right, but I definitely believe they had more of a conversation than we actually saw on screen. Now, you guys got to remember, Uncle Gabe said he hasn't seen ghosts since the night that his father died. So not only does this mean that this isn't the first time that he's just gone missing from a specific place, but it also shows us that wherever Uncle Gabe is right now, the fact that he hasn't been able to see James for that long means that clearly he's out of the way, clearly he's nowhere near his current life. So if Ghost was to fake his death and go to live where Uncle Gabe was in that apartment, it's out of the way, no one knows he lives there, no one can make the connection, no one will know to look there. So he would be a ghost in that location. He would be disappearing from his current life, going back to his old life, which he disappeared from 13 years ago. So it all makes sense to me. If he could have disappeared from that life and no one from that life can find him, then he could easily disappear from this current life and go back to that life, and no one from this current life will find him. It just makes sense. But let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Now, I'd say this also makes sense because it means that he has the ability to watch over everyone at the same time as still remaining a ghost. No one knows that he lives there, no one can make the connection between him and Uncle Gabe, so no one will know to look there, but at the same time he can still watch over everyone else because he's not that far from them. He's far enough not to be found, but he's not far enough to not be able to watch over them. And I believe that he is still watching over them because he wants to watch over Tariq and pop up at the right time. But let me know your thoughts and opinions on that in the comment section below. Now, I'm going to be moving on to the scene where Uncle Gabe actually meets Tariq for the first time. I'm going to put just from this scene alone, I definitely believe that Uncle Gabe knows a lot more than we do. Just look at the way that he actually looks at Tariq when he says certain things and the way that he's grinning when he talks. I definitely think it's important for us to focus in on the dialogue as well, because he actually says to Tariq, more time we thought we might lose him to the streets, clearly talking about James. But the thing is, he was shot dead in his nightclub. Now that's pretty much the same as dying to the street. Why would you say that if he was shot dead? He didn't have a peaceful death. Do you know what I mean? Like, dying to a gunshot is pretty much like dying to the streets. I know it's not the same thing, but he was shot dead in his nightclub. Let's be honest, that's pretty much like dying to the streets. Now, obviously, we know that Ghost is alive, but according to the news, he was shot dead in his nightclub, and in my opinion, that's pretty much the streets. But you guys let me know in the comments, as I said already. Now, he also says to Tariq that, you know, his grandfather used to say that if you go down that road, you're going to either end up dead or in jail, but that James ended up turning it around and made us all proud. Then he looked at Tariq and said, just like I know you're gonna make him. Now for me, this is like Uncle Gabe pretty much saying that he knows everything. He knows Tariq is trying to be a little gangster because obviously Ghost has told him, and he's told him exactly what he said for a specific reason. We all know that Ghost's plan for Tariq is to send him to school and get an education and have nothing to do with the road life. And it's like Uncle Gabe is literally reminding him of that. Like, literally, if you go down this road, you're gonna end up dead or in jail. Stop doing what you're doing and go to school like your dad wants you to go to. That's pretty much what he's saying, and in my opinion, it kind of does make a lot of sense as well. So let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below, but I would definitely say that Uncle Gabe knows something, well, a lot more than we actually know. I find it strange as to why they'd bring in such an important character so late into the series for no reason. I definitely feel like we're going to be seeing more of him in book 2 as well, and I feel like his story is just beginning. I feel like he's going to be there and he's going to give us a lot of insight into Ghost's past, but we're going to have to see how that plays out. You guys got to remember that Ghost would obviously need help when he's hiding out. You know, going into hiding is not easy. You're going to need people there to help you with certain things. So he's obviously going to have someone like Uncle Gabe who he can trust from the past, and someone like Ramona who he feels like he can also trust as well. And Ramona is also the only other person that he told that he brought that venue. So it all kind of makes sense. Ramona has kind of gone missing. As I said, check out the Ramona theory that I done on my channel. I'll leave the link in the description, but it all kind of plays one big part of one big theory. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Do you feel like Uncle Gabe has anything to do with the disappearance of Ghost or Ghost's death? However you guys want to look at it, I personally feel like he's alive. As I said, I am still working on a separate video where I am going to be, you know, covering all the reasons why Ghost might be dead for those of you who actually believe Ghost is dead. If you guys did enjoy the video, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Sharing the video does really help me out, so if you guys did enjoy the video, please do share it on one of your social media platforms, and don't forget to subscribe here on the channel. Anyways, it's been your boy MVT for What MVT Thinks. I'm out. Peace. Let it go, make my body go.